All right, so yeah, we're gonna see a PVZ here. So spawning on the bottom right of Alter Team Stronghold, our purple Zerg player Anuzarg. Say hi to him in the chat.
In the bottom left of the map, Ultra Team Stronghold, we have his opponent, the Protoss in the orange. It is Denra. I actually don't know if Denra goes by a different name on the forums or anything. I do know he's a
Um,
fan of the LG. I think that was FH.
I believe Denra used
Yeah,
to be in the
HF.
same clan as Cadwall.
Oh.
Um,
Okay, so he's an EU guy. So it's probably just a
I think.
account he made for this for NA that just has lower levels on it. Or because for a second you see 5, and the first thing I conclude a lot of the time when I see that number is, oh, it's a trial account. But there's no way to know that. Like he could literally just be at 5. That's a coincidence.
Shout out to Otter Pops for giving us all the Chelsea smile.
I'm like looking around trying to figure out where this is.
It's somewhere in the chat here.
I'm all the
Are,
confused.
are you familiar with the Chelsea smile? It's just the Joker smile, basically, the cut lips.
Oh.
Somebody requested it in the chat.
Okay, I gotcha.
So Cadwalk can confirm if Denra was in the clan before.
Oh, nice.
But obviously Denra isn't currently in a clan, so I don't know what happened to that. Maybe it fell apart.
No, well, it's probably on EU, not here. Like those clan texts are not universal
But
across all the servers.
I could have sworn in DKTL last season Denra played. Maybe not. I'm probably losing my mind. Regardless, spawning pool for Anuzarg. Standard timing, hash first. Why wouldn't you hash first on this map?
On this map, well, if you're facing an incredibly aggressive Protoss, and you know he's aggressive, then in other words, if you're facing Fade, you might still not want to do it. Just to be safe.
The choke is almost non-existent. We have 2 bases behind this tiny ramp here. I don't know. We'll see. Denra is definitely an aggressive Protoss player, just as Cadwa is, just as Fade is.
Yeah, I'm actually, to be honest here, I was going to say that I expected to see some aggression just because you're not seeing him make any attempt at a wall off. Any Protoss that loves to fast expand looks at the space and goes, oh, yes, and they just gateway expand at the front, but down like get a stalker with the zealot to wall off, and then just immediately go for an expansion because it's so easy here, so easy. You don't even have to delay your tech, and you don't have to worry about like being split between your natural and your main base. So if they try to ling rush you like they do on
Whoa, buddy!
Kidding me?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay, good.
I think we're here. Okay.
So you disappeared from the call this time, and Zero was still there, and I was like, no. But all right, doesn't matter. In any case.
Okay, you were saying about
and it's
proximity of the 2 bases in the Protoss. The Protoss main base here.
Yeah, like
something about that.
On Habitation Station a while ago, we got to see a daily where Life did his usual thing with Lings, where he just shows up in the guy's base at a weird time and kills him. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, that's really hard to do on this map because you're not really going to get guaranteed to get the natural just because it's so easy to wall off.
This is honestly like the first time I've seen Denra build an expansion.
Hey, this map, it makes sense. Plus, it's like they say, the cheesiest thing that the cheesy player can do is not cheese.
Mm-hmm. Because
then again, Anuzarg, if Anuzarg isn't aware of the reputation, that doesn't apply. By the way, for all he knows, I mean, for all we know,
Denra's been supply blocked for like the past minute.
Well, he's probably not used to doing this, and it doesn't hurt you too much at this stage in the game if you're going for a fast expand with Toss. It's still not obviously ideal, but he'll be okay.
Speed is just about done for Anuzarg there. So these initial 6 lings, do now have speed, and they can probably just run by a few gateway units here and check out what's going on. Not going to be too effective at doing much damage, though.
So one thing that Denra is going to be in an awkward place on is one, yeah, okay, nice, actually producing out of that Nexus. He wasn't for a minute there. But one thing that's happening is that his tech is getting delayed. Usually on 2 base with Protoss, you want to get your tech between 30 and 40 supply. And
Uh-huh.
the longer you wait, the more likely you're going to fall prey to just the random tech switching that Zergs can do.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about Zerg. Yeah, you can just drop one building, change up what you're going for, and yeah, looks like he's gonna go for some rogue kills here.
All right.
Not gonna get too many.
Yeah, he doesn't even really need to, though. He just runs around the side, sees that there's a total lack of, like, oh, Twilight Council. Whoa, that's going to tell him a lot. If he sees it, does he see it? Did he click on it? No. Okay. Well, he's going to run down here with 3 lings. They're actually going to be able to kill some stuff because Denra's not totally paying attention. Good. Okay. He's caught.
He's gonna run by that again. I'm assuming he must have actually clicked on that to see what was there. Yeah.
I would hope that he did. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be a real tragedy. In any case, he should be making sure that gearing up to have the ability to get detection if he starts to see
This
pressure
pressure.
pylon anywhere. Well, actually, come to think of it, this is not a bad move on his part because he just knows that there's not really much deal with this area and that
Yeah.
Denra is really letting stuff just run by him. There's also anywhere on the map, so if he does go for something like DTs, it's going to take forever for them to get there.
Oh man, it's so many more lings across the map right now. Yeah, slowly but surely, Denra is getting the cell count up so he can block this ramp off. Now, the moment for Anuzarg to shine with these initial lings is going to pass. If we get a block off here, don't know if that's actually blocked off. Regardless, we're going to see a 3rd base go down for Anuzarg.
Yeah, the links can get through that technically, but it'll depend on whether or not he tells them to move command through. There's enough here that I don't think he wants to engage it, though.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Ooh, he's gonna see the forces moving out here. And Anuzarg needs to wait until the army gets out of position a little more. Not a good idea to try and save the Overlord. Good.
It's like he's actually going to take off and go back home. Meanwhile, Denra staying at the ramp. Definitely a good choice there. While he gets his tech up. Protoss ground weapons level 1 about halfway done. And then we're actually going to see some roaches. We've got 3 out right now. Also, Anuzarg with the 4th base. Wow. He's really banking up on that money right now. I mean, over 1,000 minerals in the bank right now and almost 1,000 gas as well. He's saving up for something. I mean, there's always the possibility that, you know, they're just the lower tier of players and they're kind of forgetting what to spend their money on. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he's going for a big switch.
The thing is, he will be able to, one way or the other, if he can actually secure both of these bases, and he can keep Denra from ever obtaining a 3rd. 3rds are actually a little bit tricky. Not that tricky, but a little tricky on this map. You need to know, like with Protoss, you got to put down the Nexus, and then you got to surround a couple cannons with a lot of other random buildings in the right way. And if you don't quite do that, you're really vulnerable to attacks. And you'll probably see Anuzarg just poke forward, check for that base, and then I don't think we'll see him actually try and mess with the main base anymore if he can help it. It's a little too risky.
And as we see, he dumped all of his gas to all sorts of upgrades here. I mean, roach speed, +1 attack, +1 armor, burrow. This is going to be pretty interesting here. Burrow is definitely one of those things that it's not going to absolutely make or break the engagement. But if you have the micro, it's nice to have if you're able to control it. Now, also, Denra doesn't have any Immortals out. You know, went for actually, it looks like for Zealot Legs, Twilight Council instead of Robo. So, I don't know. I mean, this
is a pure gateway army.
Yeah.
Roach Hydra is ridiculously good against pure gateway armies.
Definitely.
I mean, if he actually builds up the Hydra DPS around the back of this, so this army, regardless of upgrades, will never kill it. But right now, this is going to depend on micro.
Yeah, this little skirmish here could go either way depending on the micro, as you just said. Roaches are good, but they're not that good. He can't just A-click here. He needs to do a little bit more than that. Charge on the Zealot's going to get into the fight really quick. And are we going to see Burrow come into play here?
Looks like he's actually pushing him back up the ramp here. There's a couple photon cannons in place, so if he tries to do this, or rather by the time they get too far past the front lines, most likely wouldn't be able to really get through there. But it looks like he's not even going to attempt it. Like you said, he doesn't need to. Pushing him
28
back up into his main
roaches.
base is fine.
28
Oh,
roaches
he's looking at this, and he's basically going to go straight Stefano style here. And
yeah. And it's definitely not a bad call at all. He's got 3 bases, almost 4 saturated. Denra stuck on 2 base right now. He's definitely got a lot of minerals in the bank, and a lot of gateways as well, so he's going to be able to pump some units out. But, I mean, 4 bases, lots of money, upgrades. He's just going to flood roaches, and really, I think that's all that he needs. We might not even see the Hydra transition. And there's a lot of roaches.
He's got speed now as well. And here we go. No real zealous how about this. Looks like the Sentry's going to have to fall back up there. Almost lost the force field. Wants to engage with the cannons, but as you can see, the numbers are just so great now.
Excellent concave as well. This is going to do a lot of damage. Zealots stuck behind each other. I think this is definitely in Anuzarg's favor. And this might
actually, yeah, like even with photon overcharge, I don't think he could actually stop this. It's too much. He's going to throw down the. He's going to throw down the quasi force field, known as time warp. And the roaches are going to walk into it and be like, it's fine. It's okay. Although they're actually engaging the Spartans Thermopylae style here, just running into that little choke point.
Gonna say that choke there is a little bit not really working out.
This is the most efficient engagement that Denra can ask for.
Spartan style, I like that. But it's pretty much exactly what's happening there. But they eventually make it through there, and this is Spartan style once again with a larger choke. That's okay though. I mean, he's winning with numbers. That's what the Persians did.
Pretty much. I mean, the only thing that he was missing from it was a drop in the back with a few roaches to stabilize the line.
There's the GG from the...
Yep.
So Anuzarg, I mean, got a little bit greedy there with the bases, but it worked out in his favor.
You know, to be honest, I think if he had seen the Twilight Sector, I'm not even sure if he ever really clicked on it, but just seeing what his opponent was building, I think, he was more or less... attempt to double check the inside of the base at some point, but like with an overseer maybe. But yeah, well, take what you can get, and clearly did all he needed to win.
Yeah, I think we lost. Okay, Zero's back. Okay, all right.
But yeah, it was a nice game.
Yeah, I actually, you know what? It might seem a little bit not cheesy per se, but just, you know, not too creative to Mass Roach. But I mean, that was really well done.
Well, you know, here's how I think about it. Whenever your opponent is doing something weird, simplifying your thought process and going for something a little quicker is usually a good idea. I mean, for example, you face the person who's going to one base battle cruiser mass repair play, and that guy, the last thing that guy wants you to do is to forgate him. So if you can't figure out what he's doing and you're just running around his base and you're going, what the heck? I mean, sometimes it is okay to just forgate in this situation, just to go. Don't give him the chance to even get away with something sneaky.
Yeah.
And in this case, similar thought process was sometimes you just hit the roach button, you're fine.
Yeah. I think that the Hydralist transition is, if we saw our Protoss guy Denra push back a little bit more, would have thrown in that DPS there. But definitely at that stage of the game, roaches are just so powerful, especially in mass. I would have liked to see Burrow used a little bit more, but you know, we did have that detection there from the photon cannons, so would have been cool regardless. But Thermopylae style battle is always
yeah, if you had the ability to warp in a little more behind that, you actually could have held there for a really long time.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
Like 5 stalkers versus 30 roaches.
Them overwhelming numbers. But all right, let's get into Habitation Station here. All right, it's game 2 between Anuzarg and Denra. This map's always been very intriguing for me. It's just the fact that it's one of the first ones to include golds since Wings of Liberty.
Yep.
I mean, just the overall layout, too.
Yeah, it's a very direct setup.
All right, so spawning here on the top right, winning game 1 in a commanding fashion with lots of roaches. Our purple Zerg Anuzarg.
So this map is also famous for being a really good swarm host map.
Indeed, yeah. Swarm hosts. I mean, even when you get lower than that to professional style play, on a map like this, swarm hosts can just be incredibly overwhelming. Especially, I mean, here at the second base and the 30. I mean, there's so much space around there for you to engage from. I would really, really like to see swarm hosts, but it doesn't seem like a lot of people are comfortable using them.
No, I mean, here's the thing about it. The swarm hosts have a very death ball feel to them in the same way that a lot of Protoss styles do. And the thing with that style of play is when you lose your expensive units, you're usually just dead. So if you get the swarm host out of position, they all get killed. You're just gone. And a lot of people do not like the fragility of that. But if you're comfortable with it, this is the map to do it on. Just because if you can lock down this position near this watchtower, then the only thing that the Protoss can do is try to go down toward the bottom of the map. But that's so far out of position that he's now vulnerable to counterattacks. And most players just really won't have the multitasking necessary to really do that anyway. So it is very strong. The ones that do have that multitasking are also going to be afraid of engaging. So that's why you get hour-long matches here.
Yeah. The game that I was actually referencing to last time between that actually had Snoot and another Zerg, I can't remember his name, but the match was like 70 minutes long. Actually, no. That one was more like 50 minutes, so roughly an hour, but against Titan, PVZ, and that was actually Altazim, and Snoot never went past 3 bases.
And his Arc's drone just shanking a probe and leaving.
Oh, wow. And dropping down a pylon there, which Anuzarg is completely aware of because he's got the drone following that probe.
So the double pylon block is actually a little expensive on the Protoss. I don't think it's quite worth it, especially if he loses the probe to not paying attention. Which he might, because he's now trapped.
Yeah. Oh, gets out of there smooth. But wants to block off that gold.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if this was really going to work in Denra's favor too much, unless he's going for a really fast gateway play. But like,
yeah,
the thing is, this always encourages Zergs to start getting really aggressive, and what you want is for them to try and go passive in that situation. But I don't know. I just basically every game I've ever done this, I usually lose.
Provided
so
that
every time I see it, I'm like,
yeah. I mean, if maybe you could drop the pylons there and then call that early aggression. Oh, the probe dies.
Yeah, you'd have to guess the right thing though. Like,
yeah,
that's why I don't like it. I mean, say you expect him to go Roche's fine, you prepare for that, and then he goes Banelings and destroys your wall, and you're like,
yeah.
But as you can see, look, there's a bunch of lings out now instead of a base. Of course, these are the normal links he's always been making, so maybe this isn't actually changing Anuzarg's position too much. He's just going to go kill the pylon.
Yeah, I mean, I figure he's probably just using these links to take care of the pylons and then kind of check out the opponent's base here. But again, Denra, 2 pylons at the ramp there. It looks like he's going to try to start walling that off a little bit. Gonna go without that base, or perhaps?
Well, if he lets the Zerg get up a 3rd base, he's going to be incredibly far behind economically.
Definitely.
So, I mean, I think I've said this before, but for anybody who hasn't heard this, it's pretty much with Protoss, when you're on one base, you can afford one type of tech, really. And I would say, like, it's got to be gateway or that tech. You can't really get both. You can get a bunch of gateway units, or you can get a little bit of tech and some gateway units, but you don't have much variety there. And if you can't kill him with that or do a lot of damage, your opponent just tech switches and you die. So if you can get a 2nd base on top of that, cool. Now you can afford the gateways and your compositional element, like your Immortals or your Colossus or whatever. Cool. But you can't switch. You need a 3rd base to switch, which is why Protosses will get to a 3rd base and then turtle. Because they can kind of just put their arms up and take the blows for a little while.
We will see how Denra decides to deal with this Baneling aggression, though. That is going to happen here soon. The Baneling nest is finished. We have 3 Banelings on the way and 10 more Zerglings. So, like, you pretty much called it there. Anuzarg definitely trying to be aggressive right now, and he is covering this 3rd expansion here at the gold with this aggression. I don't know how much damage these banelings are going to do with the cannons there. And
To be frank, I don't think he needs to do any. Like, there's no natural. He can just walk up there, see that there's no natural, and just stay down here. If he tries to leave, attack his army. He's good to go.
definitely a good call there.
But I
More
don't know if he's
banelings
gonna
being
go
added
for
in.
it.
Yeah, you can try to get into the heads of these players, but we never know what they're going to do until they do it. And
I mean, we go by what we saw last time. He
Yeah.
likes to, he wants to engage, he wants to do the damage, and the thing is, this is actually enough to kill the army now. That many banelings is a lot
Yeah.
of destructive force.
that is.
And
They
yeah,
don't
this Overlord's looking around, going, "Where's your base?" And now all the whole army's.
And
gonna
now
come down
he's
to do it.
out.
No.
And is he going to take this
Anuzarg
opportunity?
react, Anuzarg. No, okay, so just gonna make some more. That's fine. That's fine.
And
This ult is cool. He's gonna expand.
He wants that base.
Okay.
You know what? Now that his army's out in the open, yeah,
Oh, this is
on
great.
a bigger ramp there with no cannons to
Anuzarg
the
is
cover.
perfectly set up.
Yeah,
There's
Denra,
no wall.
I think he just about shot himself in the foot there.
Boom, ba-doom, boom,
Everything
boom,
is
boom,
dead.
boom. And now that the army's
Good
gone,
fight.
there's nothing to save the natural. Natural's gonna die.
Yeah. We have two cannons up here.
Rope's like, but no, don't run up there.
Blocking that ramp there with those zealots. That was very close.
Yeah, important thing is he gets the Nexus cancel though.
Exactly. And now that we have banelings on the way, the zealot wall is not going to hold for very long at all. So,
And Anuzarg's kind of got at least 3 base production, if not 3 base mining going on. Still a little short on the workers for that, but
yeah.
you know, it's paying off. What he's doing right now is really keeping the Protoss locked in.
We're
And he's
nearing
getting
double
gold
the income.
mining as well.
Yeah, nearly double the mineral income of Denra. Gas income a little bit lower than Denra's, but Denra, he's dropping that Twilight Council. Where is he going to go with this? Is he going to go for DT? I wouldn't expect so. He's got +1 attack on the way. But, I mean, perhaps he's really flustered right now. Just clawing for some sort of out.
Yeah, it looks like, okay, he's going double Robo.
Alright.
Maybe he wants to go into a Robo Bay. I think Twilight Council might just be to get +2 attack, actually. But in any case, I don't think it's going to matter because Banelings have killed all the Zealots.
There.
And, yeah. Now the Zealots getting the Stalkers again. It's got +1 armor charge, which is nice, but he's lost his wall. And 20 more Lings are coming out.
It's pretty much just delaying the inevitable at this point. It's going to keep these Lings at bay for just a little while, but definitely not going to take care of all of them. And more Banelings.
He's pretty much just going to morph him right there and be like, stop me. There's nothing you can do to stop this from happening. This one sentry is getting to kill more than most of his kind. Oh, that was really efficient for the Protoss, actually. He just got like 6 Banelings with 2 Zealots. Pretty good. But in any case, here comes a bunch more Lings.
Game's pretty much over at this point.
Oh. Over microing a bit here.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot more damage.
Anuzarg on the 3 bases, with all that income, just going to continue flooding units, and just going to play the war of attrition, really. Denra's going to run out of money, and he's not going to be able to hold on to this forever. So, it might look like he's holding on for now, but the outcome of the game has been decided for a little while now. Really, I mean, he could go for sentries. He's got a lot of gas banked up. Just go for sentries and continuously wall off that ramp until he gets what he wants.
Yeah.
He's got a War Prism on the way, so that's pretty interesting.
But yeah, it looks like Denra's just going back up for that defensive styles. He's going to try and hang out here as long as he can. The question will be, of course, is how Anuzarg decides to deal with this. This is actually the one situation where if you're this far ahead, Swarm Hosts are actually just the really good shutdown option. Because they're not the core of your army, you're not relying on them to exist. But they trade super efficiently all the time. In any case, it's not going to really matter because he likes Banelings, and the Banelings work well for this too. As we've seen.
Banelings do find they may not be the most cost-efficient units, but I mean, we have 3 bases, including a gold, lots of gas income.
Clean up this mess of Lings that's up in the base. Again, the thing is, every time he kills units, and every time he's just killing stuff at the front here, Denra is just falling more and more behind because he's mining away at the space, and he's soon going to be completely mined out. And
Exactly. He just has to keep replacing everything he loses and then losing it all over again. So really, I mean, the supply kind of tells the story right now. We're at 70 out of 86 for Anuzarg, and 35 out of 74 for Denra.
Ooh, but this is
Anuzarg
nice. He's got a warp prism.
We'll see
He's
how
got a
this is
warp prism at
handled.
the base. Now here's the thing: as long as he waits, just builds up a decent sized army, he can do a ton of damage with this. Uh, yeah, this actually happened in a pro game in Codes. With two players that I'm pretty sure was like neither of them expected it to happen. He
Yeah.
just saw the opportunity. He's like, I'm going to build a couple Archons and a bajillion Zealots in your base, and then walk over and kill everything. That was a heck. Oh man, that was a hell of a game.
I think I remember what you're
half sense of
referring
myself.
to, but I don't remember exactly who it was.
Yeah, me neither. Like,
yeah.
it's just one of those things where I know the two players in question. You're like, really, that happened? And
We have a Spire on the way, by the way. It looks like Anuzarg finally transitioning out of this to try and finish off his opponent. Denra,
this is the
yes.
thing, though. You have no way of dealing with this as Protoss on one base. And it's just like you can encounter one thing. You've been hit with Zealots and Banelings the whole time. So you're Zealots, Zerglings, and Banelings the whole time. So you're going to start dealing with that, right? But then here comes a bunch of flying units, and you're like, what do I do? But yeah, Zealots going to run to the main base. Try to get some damage done here. They're kind of being over-controlled, actually.
Almost trapped that queen there.
Yeah, it doesn't get the queen. Lings are going to run up and the Banelings cleaned up. So unfortunately, even that does basically nothing.
Completely cleaned up there, and the Warp Prism is going to get out of there as well. But yeah, as you were saying, with the mutas, they can dance around this one base all day long. Denra will never be able to do anything about it.
You know, it's not even just that. I mean, just the presence of the mutas forces him to do one thing, and then Anuzarg can do something else, like because he's got the money for that.
Yeah,
and
I mean, he has so much money right now.
Denra doesn't.
It's ridiculous. Anuzarg could effectively take the map at this point. He's on 4 bases. Denra has not been able to even get down to second base. Well, I mean, looks like he's moving out here. He's going to try and cover for that expansion, which he definitely needs, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think it's too late.
So you see, Immortals actually do pretty nicely against Banelings. It's not something we get to say very often because you don't. That's not usually the relevant part of the engagement. That they all pretty much died on that one Immortal.
The follow-up push is not going to be good because we have no Zealots left.
He's just going to pull back. I don't really blame him. He's pulled the army out of position. Hello, flying things.
Lots and lots of Mutalisks now. This is the nail in the coffin for Denra, unfortunately. We have a 4-ton overcharge. That'll help a little bit.
It'll keep him out for a bit, but like I say, I mean, he's waved that around in his face now. What's he going to do to stop it? He can't run those 3 Stalkers over there and engage. They'll die. And he's just now he's going to kill the natural. And
that was a horrible image I just got.
I know. No, I'm sorry.
Just waves around in his face. Oh, get that out of here! Gross.
Sorry. Of course, to be honest, your imagination did that this time.
I mean, that is true. It is mainly my fault.
I didn't intentionally try to cause it. I could, but it wouldn't work as well.
Anuzarg with the 5,000 mineral bank he's got. Jeez.
Oh, by the way, here comes the Lings, right? So now he's stuck. He's like, I can't deal with both. I'm spreading my Stalkers around so I can deal with the Mutalisks. Oh, here comes a bunch of Lings now. And this drives you crazy. It's so
everywhere.
Frustrating as a Protoss player. You can't do anything anymore.
There are units everywhere, just exploding. Oh, he just leaves. That is evidence of his frustration right there. Oh my gosh. No bueno.
All the way.
Just waved it around a little too much.
Yep.
Too much for Denra to handle, unfortunately. But we still have 2 more games left in the series.
Oh man, that game had to be horrible. Just like even from the beginning when the Banelings got up there and then he started morphing them right in front of the sentry.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? Come on, stop it. And it's King Sejong Station. Oh no. Oh no.
This map is nuts.
This is the one map as a Protoss player I would probably always beat.
Denra is not going to be able to get an expansion. It's just not going to happen.
I think anybody who, if you ever get 2 vetoes, like for a best of 3 as a Protoss player, I'd feel super comfortable vetoing this and merry-go-round. Merry-go-round for a different reason, but this just for its giant ramp. Like there's a lot of Zergs that'll just cheese you, and there's not much you can do to stop it. But yeah, merry-go-round for that debris thing being in the ramp, which I'm not a fan of. But man,
yeah, it seems like Anuzarg is definitely good at flooding units. As most
The only
Zergs.
thing that this is good. Well, okay, we'll get there.
All right. Spawning on the top left, King's Sejong Station. Our purple Zerg player, Anuzarg, who is up 2 games in this series.
Apparently they paused.
ZRQ's here. Hey, ZRQ.
Is there a queue? Anyway, in the bottom right of the map, we have his opponent, the Protoss, the orange, who's had a very frustrating game just before this. We'll see if he can come back. It is Denra. Unless you introduced him.
Oh, no.
Did you?
No.
You didn't?
I introduced Anuzarg. That's okay.
I couldn't tell, like, I accidentally moved my camera right at the beginning, so I had no idea where it started. And I was like, shoot.
Yeah. Okay.
But
No worries. And did you want to finish your point?
no, I was saying the only thing that this would be really good for is a proxy, because you can hide it basically anywhere. So if he wants to do that, the thing is, I just feel like on a map with a ramp like this, I feel the Zerg should be able to expect that.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Definitely. I mean, this is a massive ramp, and like you were saying, the debris here we don't often see that taken out, but Anuzarg just might have that capability. He's been able to keep Denra on his feet the past couple games here.
I don't think the debris is really all that relevant on this ramp, really, if they try to go for a fast attack. Just because there's inevitably going to be some kind of space up here, especially if you use banelings. There'll probably be a pylon in the wall. So it should be pretty easy to bust open. But he's just going to put down the pylon right away and be really aggressive about it. This is another way to force into a 1v1 base situation, I guess. Zergs really hate it when you do this, by the way. If you actually let that pylon finish down there, they're like,
oh, yeah. I mean, definitely. And
burst.
It's even worse if you grab the third base as well, because that's the natural response. You're going to force the Zerg to stick around on one base for a little while. Definitely going to throw a kink into their
So this
plan.
does actually do something, which it's going to delay creep spread connection between the third and the natural. So a good thing to do if you're a Protoss and you cause this situation to happen, get that early Zealot Stalker Mothership Core, run across the map and attack the third. There's going to be very little to actually defend.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's actually not that far behind. I mean, there's really not much in the way gained from causing this to happen, other than maybe ticking off your opponent a ton and causing him to not spend his minerals early on. So, yeah, there's that.
That too, and I suppose Denra could possibly exploit the fact that he knows that there is a very vulnerable expansion there. But at the same time, Anuzarg is going to account for that as well. He needs to keep the space alive. Got a few lings going to be on the way here soon. Spawning pool is just about finished, as well as that gas. So he is ready for speed.
Okay.
I wonder. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know right now what Denra's plan is just quite yet. You've noticed he doesn't really wall off in any of the games he plays. So I guess to him, all these maps are effectively the same. He's not even going to worry about it.
Yeah. And actually, Anuzarg just getting complete vision of this expansion here as well. We've got the double gas out of Denra, but this gas on the side only has one harvester, and looks like he's going to add a few more in to correct for that good. Yeah, Anuzarg has just complete knowledge of this base timing, and going to take out that pylon as well, and probably grab that base. So, I mean, you can safely assume that we're not going to see any sort of a one base play, obviously, but perhaps Denra has a 2-base timing attack up his sleeve. I don't know. I mean, we have seen the past few games here, Anuzarg incredibly aggressive.
All right, I'm back, I guess.
Yeah, it dropped me for a little bit too. That's okay.
Well, I'm sorry, guys, but this is just part of the nature of why you know the land, Blizzard, and living in different parts of the country.
Exactly.
So, in other words, even if there was land, there's nothing we can do. I'm sorry. But
it's a moot point. That's okay.
Yep. But you can see it right now, and like he's got the creep. He's got a creep tumor down, and up in both bases, and he's starting to spread that creep, but it's still completely disconnected. This queen up here on the high ground can't react at all to anything that would be happening on the low ground, which is, it's good that he's got the second queen down here. Third base. Ooh, finds a pylon. Pulls that off. That's going to help out a lot. Anytime you can stop those proxy pylons from appearing on the map, guys, talking to Zergs out there, make it happen. You know why? Because if anybody's trying a two-base push against you, that extra wave of units has to start from the back at their base rather than up there, which means you get a nice little timing to try and kill their army. You want that. It helps.
Looks like Anuzarg is just content to really drone up at this point. I mean, it's producing a few lings here. Obviously, you need those to scout a bit, see what's going on. But he just had 8 drones in production there, so definitely trying to saturate the second base here. And I can only assume he's going to go for this, well, second being the third, but going to go ahead and saturate this new base as well at the natural expansion. Infestation pit going down already. Double Evo chamber. I think he's really just trying to macro up right now, and really he can. I mean, he's gonna be safe for a little while. But we do have 2 more gateways going down, so that should potentially be a problem.
I wonder, I really do, if he's doing this to get hive tech. He could
Honestly,
be.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, he could. There's any number of things he can actually grab with this. He could even just be getting it for upgrades.
Swarm host, swarm host, swarm host, swarm host.
Swarm host. He could grab by going up to hive.
Here he goes.
The first time I watched Anuzarg play a show match, the very first game, he did a 1-base ultra push.
What?
Yeah.
1 base?
1-base ultra. Now this isn't 1-base ultra. This is going to be 3-base ultra more than likely. But if he does something like that, he doesn't really have the gas for it, so it'll be 3-base and ultra most likely.
Yeah.
But it could be what he's going for here. It's really jarring, by the way, if you don't see this coming as a Protoss player.
Yeah.
If it is ultras, but he can also just use it to get that really awesome super attack upgrade that the Lings can get. Makes them kill buildings incredibly fast. But
we don't see anything, and nothing out of the Evo chambers just yet. He's got 2 of them. They've been up for a little while now. 10 drones. He's droning up like a boss. He's definitely working on his macro right now. I mean, Denra actually ahead on the worker count right now. Oh, okay, there we go. Anuzarg pulling ahead there. So what are we going to see out of Denra? We have 5 gateways. We have +1 attack. We have a lot of gateway units right now. Where is the transition going to go from here? Twilight Council, it looks like.
Well, yeah, I think he's just doing the same thing he was last time, which is pretty much he just wants to get a lot of upgrades up for his gateway army, I think. He's spending a lot of money into cannons rather than gateways, though, which means that he's never going to be able to spend enough money. We can even see him being at around 1,000 right now, but that's like unless he builds another 5 gateways, he's going to be permanently stuck about 500 up in both resources. Because he's nicely saturated on both bases. He's got that income. He just can't spend it.
You called it, man. We have the Ultra Cavern on the way.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet.
So Anuzarg completely saturated on all 3 bases right now. Going for that gas. And the Ultra Cavern over halfway done right now. Working on 1-1 upgrades as well. The big Ling Ultra push. I definitely do not disagree with that.
No, I gotta say, decent creep spread as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's
definitely getting better at this.
Lots of queens here.
Yeah, the
3 queens. Working on that. Ooh, yeah.
So,
for the 4th base.
Oh, okay. Holding this expansion is going to be
Wait,
difficult.
why did Denra pick this base on the right?
You know, I don't know. There might not be a ton of thought process put into it. The one thing I don't really like about this is it actually opens up this... Oh, the debris is not open.
Yeah.
So he can't even respond to an attack there.
That's where I was kind of interested. Maybe, you know, there's also the possibility, we have to take into account the fact that he is level 5, so he hasn't played too many games, and perhaps he doesn't have enough experience with this map just yet to realize there. You know,
I mean, it could be added. You know? The thing is, he could be trying to just hide it because he expects Anuzarg to check the bottom left. The only thing that's funky about this is as long as those debris are there, the probes running over there to mine are going to give it away every time.
Yeah, and we have an Overlord here that will catch all of that.
Yep. But if he kills the rocks off, he can actually hide this for a while.
Also, Adrenal Glands is just about finished there, so definitely going to increase the power of these Zerglings. 1 Ultra on the field. Right, yeah, 1 Ultralisk. We're going to see more here. shortly after chitinous plating on the way.
Yep, it's the famous and ultra play.
Yeah, we've got all the little trash mobs and then the big boss.
And Zark's building a dungeon. He's got a couple of mid bosses taken out at the back. Anyone here play the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot at all?
I've heard of it. I have not actually played it though. I've heard good stuff about it.
It's pretty fun for a while. I mean, it does get to a point where you're just kind of like, I'm done. But it's really neat up until that point.
Start
just to see people building their own dungeons and everything. It's worth checking out. Doesn't cost
that
anything.
reminds me of a game called, what was it called? Is it Dungeon Keeper? Where you basically build a dungeon and then you have to keep maintaining it to build different demons. Hello? We here? We good?
Welcome back.
Okay. You build different demons, and then every so often, these AI-controlled heroes will try to take your dungeon down. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, nice.
Completely unrelated. It's an old game, but it kind of reminded me.
Okay, so 5 ultras is going to be an incredible pain to deal with for this army.
3 more on the way too. It's going to be nuts. Yeah.
I mean, if he even attempts to engage it, I don't know what Anuzarg's going to do with this just quite yet. The thing about ultras, though, is that they're kind of like, Archons, where they can get stuck on each other.
They can break through all of the force fields that we might see.
Yep.
I mean, we have a lot of sentries here, so if he's relying on force fields, not going to happen.
Nope, I mean, pretty much all he gets out of that is Guardian Shield, which doesn't help against these melee units at all either. So the sentries pretty much can't do anything except add quote-unquote DPS. Which I put that in quotes because against these units, it isn't going to do much. They may do a damage point.
Leading with the Ultralisks. Gonna shred through all of these zealots.
Zealots are gonna be gone. The lings are just gonna run right in. Get tons of DPS in the back of that. And yeah, he can just attack straight up into this. He's even got some transfuse with these queens. He can get them close enough to actually use it.
Transfuse!
No, he's just gonna
let him die. That's
or not. I mean, he did do a lot of damage to the army, so
that he did. Definitely not a push to scoff at, but I mean, he could have saved a few of those ultras there. But I mean, this is a lot of queens.
5 more ultras
and 36 more Zerglings.
He doesn't know about this base yet, but that's kind of okay.
Dude,
for Denra, this has basically been a paperweight. Unfortunately, he's only got 5 workers there, so he hasn't really quite recouped the cost from putting it there in the first place. He's getting there, though.
He's working on it. He's chrono boosting out those probes. Also, 2 Void Rays on the way. Nothing... I mean, unless we get those queens in position, we won't have much that can shoot up. But, I mean, if we get some good transfuses, it's going to be tough to kill these ultras. Especially with 2-2 on the way, just about finished. Chitinous plating finished a while back. So we're already at 3 armor, soon to be 4. And tons of energy on these queens as well. So, we'll just have to see if Anuzarg has the micro for it.
Void Rays. This is a nice response from Denra. They do very, very well against ultras, and there isn't much to shoot up in this army until he gets the creep spread down here. The queens will negate that really, really, really nicely. What the hatcheries?
Look at all of these hatcheries here. I mean, that's. I guess he's tired of spreading creeps, so now he's just gonna build hatcheries to spread creep for him.
I don't know. This screams to me I'm tired of injecting. I don't want to inject anything.
That too. I mean, he's got a lot of money.
He basically doesn't have to anymore.
Engage without the queens, that's okay. I mean, we have a lot of immortals here, and also dramatic alignment here. But, oh man, so many immortals just gonna shred right through these ultras. They're out of range for the transfuse.
The thing is, at this point, he could just flood links. Anuzarg is GG.
Wait, what? What?
Is this GG Lee, or is this
what?
GG?
No.
There's a cool though. Did we miss something?
What?
The message thing. You said GG.
What the
he
fuck?
Did.
It's because Indra? Is this Indra?
The thing is, Anuzarg is not. He's not an angry guy, so this is a little confusing to me. So, oh man, Anuzarg, buddy.
Dude!
Always get the overseer in check first. Always check first.
Oh, dude, that.
He had 1,300 in terms of resources, and that was his entire army right there. You would have been fine if you kept playing.
Uh,
What? What?
I'm just like, what the fuck? Wait,
That
do we have
ending, man.
Anuzarg,
That
the BM Zerg player? I'm like, wait a minute, is this
I
BM?
didn't
Or is this
know.
legitimate?
Okay. Don't worry. It's okay, Anuzarg.
It's
I
all right.
think everybody does it at least once.
It's a learning
It's fine,
process.
It's fine. I haven't seen that legit happen to anybody in a while though, so
Yeah,
I'm kind of amused.
that's pretty funny. Thank you for our entertainment for the evening, Anuzarg. That's all he had, man. That was it. Just a couple of mortal. You could have just flooded Lings and won the game. It's all right though.
Oh man.
Um,
I guess I should have expected that because I've only ever seen Anuzarg do the weird hatchery thing when he's like when he thinks he's losing.
bad luck, Anuzarg.
Oh man,
GG
Anuzarg.
when you're ahead.
We thought you were being BM. At least you weren't being BM.
Yeah,
I'll give
yeah.
you credit for
That was my first thought. I mean,
I can only imagine what's running through Denra's head
I was
at
gonna
that point.
say he's like,
When he's like, oh, is he early GGing me? And then he leaves, and you're like, what? What? And then you look at the replay
won.
later, and you're like, why?
So this should have been a 3-0, but
This is like that. Oh,
Denra.
dude. So one of those 4 games I played at the beginning of the season, before I had other stuff to do, the first game was this guy roach rushed me after I fast expanded. He shows up with 7 roaches, and I have a wall off and like 3 zealots, and he just leaves. And I'm like, you could have killed that. I don't know.
He was probably having a rough day. That's all right.
Yeah, don't worry, buddy. Don't worry, man. Just check next time, man.
You
It all-
can't
it
give up
hurts.
like that.
It hurts. Should have been your game, dude. It's okay.
You
Let's
won
see if you
in
took
my
it
book.
serious. The war is not over yet.
All right, so game 4 on Overgrowth. All right.
I'm starting to feel like whenever I GG now, just in case that happens when I'm playing, I should type GG winky face and then leave, and then the guy will never know.
Yeah.
If I was ahead when I left and without realizing it, he'd be like, "Did he just give me the game?"
Okay, so spawning on the bottom left of Overgrowth. Anuzarg, who should have won this series already, but slipped up a little bit. That's okay. We're going to forgive him. Our Zerg player in the purple trunks.
So I guess this puts us at 1 apiece now. His opponent, Denra, having taken this previous game, and I got to say, this leaves you in a weird position when this happens. You take a game like that. You're like,
Yeah.
I guess I won that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised we're not seeing any banter here. I mean, Denra's got to be pretty excited. Oh my god, I just
Well,
beat a
that
Zerg
or
that was
he's
on
in-
5 bases.
Or he's in some kind of adrenaline shock, which is also possible.
Mhm.
Where he's just like, he feels really huge amount of heart rate and just feels shaky, and he's
Feels
like,
really good.
I don't feel like I won.
Dude, Denra, you definitely won.
Yeah, he definitely won that one.
A GG is a GG.
Still the in-base gateway thing. I think this is definitely something he'd like to maybe look into a little bit here. He's actually incredibly vulnerable to like 10 pools with this.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it almost seems like when you play against Zerg, it's pretty much a staple just to start some sort of wall with your first few buildings.
I mean, you can technically, like, there's ways to still win in that situation. It's just that it's hard. Like, it's really tough. So, basically, as far as I'm concerned, Denver is more or less playing on hard mode for his league, if you know what I mean.
Anuzarg, just doing the same old standard build. We've got hatch first, then the gas into a spawning pool very soon here. And gonna grab speed most likely. Well, you know, I'd like to see something different out of Denra. We've seen the same thing from him for the past few games here. A little bit of variation depending on the map. Obviously, Altrazim has the in-base expansion. But it seems like for the majority of the game, he just loves his gateway units. And earlier on in the game, it's not such a bad thing, but when you get to 18 minutes or so, I mean, you should have a little bit more.
In theory, what he's doing is technically sound if he can stay on top of his macro. But as you can see there with... well, actually, no, he's okay. For a second, I thought he was going to be supply block, but his proxy pylon just finished. But yeah, if he can keep on top of his macro, and if he can be a little bit more aggressive, what he's doing is actually fine. Like, for this level of play, you don't really need to be incredibly complicated when you're thinking to still win the majority of your games. You just need to produce a lot of stuff.
It's like on average... I guess obviously depending on your build order, but you start to get into the higher tier around 11, 12 minutes. If you're playing, without being harassed or anything like that, which, that's only in a perfect world. But I would like to see where Denra goes with this. Obviously, he blocked his third base here, and Anuzarg just going all the way to the bottom right corner of the map to grab that base. I wonder if he's just... when he gets this, the first few lings out, if he's going to take this pylon and go for 4 bases before 6 minutes, that's kind of crazy, and really ballsy too. Faust, where are you? Somebody's requesting the bracket. I don't have a link to it right now.
For those of you looking for the brackets, look for the DKTL season thread post on the Day 9 TV forums, and you will find them all there.
Actually, you know what? If you... Never mind. The brackets aren't linked here. Okay. Never mind.
In any case, yes, this is a silver-ish level of game. I only say ish because I actually don't know anything about where Denra is ranked, because he doesn't play on 9A, which I think is where this was played.
Mm-hmm. Also, yeah, the pylon being taken out here, and are we going to see a base placed here? I mean, this is...
Oh, he's putting it down there. Interesting.
Super duper.
So if he does put a third there in that spot, this is what we call a ninja expansion. Even though it's not technically one, because he's not hiding it in a weird, obscure location.
Yeah.
But he's counting on his opponent not finding it to get an edge.
When Scipio plays Zerg, he likes to do stuff like this. He likes to grab like 3 or 4 bases right off the bat and just hope that his opponent doesn't ever find out, and then flood lings. And that's it, just lings. And in a situation like this, that, I don't know. I mean, we've seen Denra fall to that early pressure several times already, so it's going to be interesting to see here.
Well, I think that if you've been thinking about the games that you've had with this guy, that's a very reasonable thing to do, just because he doesn't really wall off. So
yeah.
The caveman style Zerg Meglings is going to be very, very effective in this situation, because the natural defenses for the Protoss against it are simply not there.
Ooh, Shmegegi is here. We
Hey, Shmeg.
I believe we casted some of Shmeg's games.
Yes.
Yeah, last week.
Yes, we did.
Unfortunately, I think he missed those.
Yes, he did.
But he's here.
He missed us butchering his name.
Shmegegi, Shmeggy. all right, we can move past that. Hydralisk Den about halfway done here. We haven't actually seen him ninja that third base, so sticking with 3 bases for now.
Yeah, this is not quite the same. Like, this is a more standard approach to it. It's still a little bit of a ninja base because you can't really defend it. Like, again, the single zealot stalker walk down here, if he manages to kind of deal with the lings in the middle first, he can actually just kill this almost, or at least force a ton of lings. And
yeah, I mean,
queens can't hold it off though.
We haven't seen any proxy pylons this game from Denra either. He's just been cooped up in his base for the most part. I would like to see him kind of try to take more opportunities. Because this isolated base down here in the bottom right, like you were just saying, he could force a lot of units down here and perhaps even take it out before a response is even made. Anuzarg with a few lings here, just to the south of this base, likely just here to check things out. We are going to see the Robo and the Twilight Council. TC's over halfway done, first Robo, and just under halfway done. And he's chrono boosting out them probes. But unfortunately,
Humatized Carapace. Okay, we've got movement speed, burrow,
roof spines.
So yeah.
So he totally skipped roaches.
Interesting. I like picking up the movement speed for the overlords actually. I mean, if you don't know where to spend that money on, like if you're a really efficient high level Zerg player, I can understand skipping it. If you're not, I think it's great to pick it up because like if you see the Protoss start making Phoenixes or something, you just pull all your Overlords back. You won't lose more than one. I mean, I think it'll actually pay a lot of dividends in that situation. Also, obviously, it sets up drop play if you want to try that.
Yeah.
But, meh. If you don't go for it, I
let's
don't blame
see
you.
a Nidus Network, man. I don't see a Nidus Network.
Dude, you know what I want to see? I want to see someone build 3-4 Nidus Canals and then Nidus Network 4 bases simultaneously. And then just pick whatever
Then
one
you
the
can do,
Protoss
like,
doesn't respond. Yeah, pretty much you just pick whatever one the Protoss doesn't respond to and go straight there.
That'd be pretty hilarious. Take a lot of control.
Yes, it would.
A lot of map vision, map awareness.
You'd also have to like make sure you put the canals in the right order to where you're popping them up on the map so you don't appear in the wrong location.
Yeah.
Which would be funny. But
you know, I just don't. You know, Denra hasn't been pushed at all this game, and he's been sitting back and macroing up. But his macro isn't quite on par with Anuzarg's, especially with that third base and now a fourth. He's just, even without being pushed, he's already falling behind. 35 workers to 58 is income. Isn't too far behind Anuzarg's, but it is behind. And unless he can get up to that death ball status, he's just going to get outplayed. The war of attrition is just such a horrible thing.
I like what Denra's doing here, is going up into getting Templar tech this time. He needs to research Storm. He doesn't really have any area effect damage to deal with this.
You know, I would love Storm, because Storm would be incredible against Lings, of course, but also against Hydras.
Yeah, it's decent against this composition. It's not perfect. Like, you need a couple of really solid Storms, or the DPS of the Hydras still wins.
If you can, you know, if he could grab a third base and throw in some Colossi, that would be a good composition for this.
But yeah, he needs to get a third. That should not be ignored. His opponent's going up to 4 bases. He doesn't have quite the gas for everything he wants to try. We can even see it there. Okay, he's getting Archon. All right. 3 base, you know, Zealot Archon's a fine composition.
Also researching Psionic Storm, though, so that's... It looks like he wants to go for Archon and High Templar, and I don't... You know, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of gas.
It's fine, but I mean, I would prefer you start getting the Archons with not the first 2 Templar, because those already had a decent amount of energy on them. But, like, this is actually looking more like a PvP composition than it is a PvC composition. Again, it might still work if he can get the enough... Okay. The commentary is Patch's OP. Nerf Protoss and Anuzarg, who isn't actually responding to him in real time, still says what the anyway, which I kind of appreciate. Anyway, enough Hydras are like enough Marines. They just win. So, yeah.
Never knew Hydras this strong. You don't have to rub it in, man. But well done, regardless. No, I mean, as I was saying before, Denra's macro just is not on par with Anuzarg.
They are crazy strong. GG.
Alright. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay.